I'm ready for my close-up. I didn't know it was going to be just immediately on camera, so yeah. I didn't rehearse or anything.
Yep.
Got a nice little setup here.
All right, have a seat.
All right. My name is Ramiro Fauve. I'm an artician. I would be an artist and a musician. From 9 to 13, I lived in Palo Alto, Riverside, Upland. We moved around a lot. My teen years were back east, in Jersey, in Piscataway. And in the 80s, I came back. I thought, let me just grab my suitcase and my $900 and come to LA. I've done a lot of paintings and design work for film and television. So I've done a lot of shoots down here. It has a little bit of a New York vibe. Reminded me of the Village, and I lived in the Village. I've come down here for years, coming in, doing shoots, kind of checking out, oh, the interesting corner, interesting streets, trippy vibe. Of course, back then you just wanted to, at sundown, get the hell out of Dodge, right? I started doing these entertainment venues, and I was creative director at the Edison, which is a beautiful jewel downtown ultra lounge. And then that owner had me look at Clifton's Cafeteria, the famous place there on Broadway. So I started working on that. There are only a few big bar owners. They all know each other. They probably all play golf and compete. So said Moses said, why don't you come take a look at one of my venues? So I redid Cole's. It's the oldest bar in LA. And I thought, I need a shop down here. So I asked said Moses, you own all these buildings? Do you have something nearby? He's like, well, how about Crazy Gideon's spot? And I was like, that is half a block from where I want to live. It was around 2010. I thought, you know what, I can't keep doing this commute. I actually have a house in Woodland Hills, and it was taking 3 hours of my day. And I thought, let me get something close by. So I said, all right, this is the spot. I knew it would be the American Hotel. My dog took to it. I took to the neighborhood, of course. I'd always loved it. And I had to walk half a block, basically, to my shop. The minute I walked in, the characters I met, I couldn't even believe. It was like a screenplay unfolding before my eyes. I liked the little galleries, the little stores, and I didn't know that much about the art community. People that know me, they're like, you're at the American? I'm like, I'm at the American. It's like, how do you do that? Because it's an old walk-up. There's no elevator. You walk up, you're greeted by the bathroom, shared by everybody on the floor. Well, there's 2 per floor, so it's not so bad. But then it's a old school brick small loft. The place is so small, I went to pull the covers on, my electric guitar slammed me in the head, so it's cramped. I think of it as city camping. I love to camp, I set up my tent, I've got my little kitchenette on my picnic table. I love the simplicity, I love downsizing. It's rough and it's rugged, but I love it. It fuels my fire. I had this giant fuzzball Cash. He's my Alaskan Husky Malamute mix. I moved in, and I left him in the room for a second, went down to my car, and I look up, and there he's standing in the windowsill. It's on the 2nd floor, standing on the edge. I'm like, oh my God, like, get down, get back, get off there. There's no keeping him off there. He absolutely loves it. That's his perch, and he's quite an attraction. People yell up to him, even sometimes pray to him. People take pictures of him, they upload it. It's hilarious. So he's quite the kind of local star. So I ended up doing this 3D mural of Cash out in Bloom Square. I had taken a picture of Cash in front of the Syark metal sculpture there. And when I got back, I was like, that's it. I'll make it seem like he's just standing there. I had no clue how I was going to do it, but I figured it out. I wanted it to look real, which is hard to do with acrylics. It dries quick. It takes a few people to pull something like that off. Emilio helped me, so we got it done really quickly. People get a kick out of it. I love it. It's just fun. I love fool the eye stuff. I love a visual experience, not just an image. So if I can have the image somehow where you can get behind it, in it, around it, if it can mess with you a little bit, I love that. So anytime I can get away with that. One of the things I do is my own fine art. And I'm known for mega murals, but I started doing my own work just so that I'd get my own yayas out. And I like to photograph things and then turn them into paintings. So when I moved in, I kept running into this same guy. And I'm like, who is this guy? Every corner I would turn, there he was. So one day I was coming up the stairs, bumped into each other again. Oh, sorry. And I thought, you know what, let me just get a picture of this guy. So I turned and took this photo of him just exiting the doorway. And when I looked at it, I just loved it. With the glow, and he almost looks like an alien going through the doorway. It's not sure if you're going up the stairs or down the stairs. It was cool. It turned out to be Stuart Noble. I mean, he's a resident of the American. Everybody seemed to know him. He was very involved in the neighborhood. But shortly after I took this photo, then he passed away. You know, I'd heard he'd walked into traffic. He's an English guy, so he was looking the wrong way. And at that point, I had to paint it. You know, there was some reason we had interacted. It's an important piece for me. I think I'd stayed here maybe a night or two. All of a sudden, the cops show up. There's a huge commotion. Something's going on. A drunk had gotten into the laundry room and got so hammered that he's sitting in the windowsill and fell into the courtyard out of the second-story window. He didn't die, so don't worry. But it ended up in my song. I had this fun little number called Out My Window. It describes literally, almost verbatim, what I'm simply seeing in my neighborhood. There's a reference to screaming eyeballs flowing from her knees. Well, it sounds like it's totally bizarre, but that was a mural where this woman is there and there's eyeballs all over the place and they're flying out of her knees. So I didn't have to make anything up, you know, on psychedelics. It was all right there, just looking around. My whole recording studio is on my nightstand, right next to my window. That's technology today. 70 tracks, no problem, that big. And at the end of the song, when I was recording it, I'd finished my vocal and I was holding it in my hand. And I just thought, what the hell? And I just leaned forward, stuck the mic out the window, and just then the Archway Theater was letting out. So this huge crowd comes out. You hear them all talking and cackling and complete with the sirens in the distance.
I love the city, living on my corner. Beer and cigarettes, riding on the breeze. The high cackle of female voices, 100 bikes in a war of noises. Here in the hall of these, that's the world out my window, against the ringing silence of days gone by. Look for you out my window. All I get is a block of ice. Yeah, all I get is a block of ice. There's a movie living on my corner, screaming eyeballs flowing from her knees. The model laughs at the husky posing from the washer trunk came falling down. How'd you find this place? Love the sounds out my window, against the ringing silence of days gone by. And then I look for you out my window. All I get is a faint outline. All I get is a faint outline. Swirling around my head.
Getting to know the people here and the artists and how hard it is really to keep your day job, pay your rent, feed yourself, not get in trouble. I see my artist community struggling here. There is not enough affordable art space. People want $2 and $3 a square foot, or we need a spot 10 by 10, $100 a month. Something affordable like that, I think that has to be here. That's the heart of this community, is artists. We beautify, we make something cool, and people want to live here. The shops and restaurants and bars, and it's cool place to hang out. I'd hate to see the artists be squeezed out of the arts district. The American Hotel, I think it has an amazing future and a long one. I'd like to see it stand for a long time. It has such rich history, it's incredible. It's an historical building. The stories are amazing. I just marvel at the depth and breadth of the stories. I hope it stays, and I hope it stays in its character. This is a hostile apartment building. I think it should stay that way.
Okay.